some interesting news in the world of DC. Well, more like conjecture or rumor, right? It's an actual rumor with a lot of meat into it because of who's basically leaking this information. Well, apparently, Kit Harington, Jon Snow, is basically panned to play Hush in Matt Reeves' The Batman sequel. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Hush, Hush is a really intricate character in the Batman universe. And if you watched Batman and Hush, it's this movie right here, an outstanding movie, really cool movie. That's one of the cool things about DC animation is they're not really afraid to go there. And when you go from the comic book, which is actually a really cool comic book. This comic book right here is outstanding. The writing is awesome. But when they basically took this from here to the movie, the animated movie, Hush was outstanding. And I mean, when I tell you, he gave Batman fits. I'm not going to really give out a lot of spoilers. You really need to go watch Batman and Hush. It's a really cool movie. Outstanding acting. The voice actors are awesome. But also it's the fact that they explored this character in a different way. You know what I mean? Not the traditional comical way. This is really, really gritty, really dark, but also in a really nice way. But anyway, so the fact that they are looking at Kit Harington. Now, I don't know how I feel about it because obviously we all love this man as Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. And he will forever be Jon Snow. I don't care what he does, forever. As long as Gen Zs are alive, Kit Harington will be Jon Snow. He's just forever ingrained in our heads as Jon Snow. But I haven't really seen a lot of movies that he's been a part of outside of Eternals, which Marvel was really hoping to have spin-offs, like to kind of create this franchise that didn't really happen. And a lot of it was because, some people say it was superhero fatigue because this just came after Avengers Endgame and all these stuff. Nobody really wanted to watch another ensemble of characters. But the biggest reason it didn't do well was the story. The cast was okay. The cast is actually really cool. But this movie didn't really connect with the fan base. You know what I mean? And you can tell when the fan base, because there's so much buzz, right? People can't wait to see it. When it goes into streaming, all of a sudden it shot up to #1. That never happened. And it's really sad because, Kit Harington was in that movie. He wasn't really a superhero, but at the end, there's kind of like this teaser that there's a bigger role for this man. There's more to this man than meets the eye, right? Which kind of told us there might be some sequels. They probably thought they would have some sequels and probably explore that character. But yeah, here we are. But, so I don't necessarily have a lot of content to kind of weigh outside of Game of Thrones and Eternals. And yes, he's done a few other movies, but some of them have just been like romantic comedies. Hush, especially the way Matt Reeves is going to direct the Batman. If you watch the Batman that he did, you know that this is rated R for a reason. It is dark, but in a nice way. So I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't, because I think that I know he's a good actor. I really do, and I believe that given the opportunity, he probably will have to take it seriously and will obviously do a good job, because sometimes you just have no choice. But he's playing a bad guy, which is one of those things where you're like, can you really play a bad guy? How many people have you seen play a bad guy and you're like, we never really saw Denzel play a bad guy until Training Day, and then we were like, man. And then you're like, could you imagine Denzel in a movie as a serial killer? He would, man. You know what I mean? So we've seen certain actors be bad people. Al Pacino, be bad. And you're like, oh, Robert De Niro, be bad. And, oh. Yeah, and they play a really cool bad guy. They play a really cool bad guy. So I don't know. Now again, this is a rumor, but this is one of those things where depending on who you know and who was leaking this, there's always a lot of substance when, I'm not going to name him, just listen, when you know, you know. But when he leaks information, he got it from a credible source. So maybe they're looking into him, but this wouldn't be this big because obviously it's created some buzz. And a lot of it is a huge fan base of Game of Thrones. They love Kit Harington. So I don't know. I just hope that if this is true and not just conjecture, that he takes it seriously and he gives us an incredible Hush character, right? And he lives up to it. Because, I mean, we've seen movies just die based off of casting, right? It's so sad that, like Eric Bana playing the Hulk. I loved the story. The story was nice, but people didn't really connect with Eric Bana as Hulk, and people loved Edward Norton as the Hulk. He's my favorite Hulk, but obviously Marvel didn't really connect with him, right? They prefer Mark Ruffalo, and obviously fans have now really fallen in love with Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. So yeah, so I don't know what to think. I really don't know what to think, but I'm just excited for the fact that you're giving an actor who's played a certain way, right, the opportunity to try and be something else, something more gritty, more dark, right? And I think, I'm not an actor, but whenever you hear actors don't like being typecast, right? I don't want to play the bad guy. How many of you have seen this actor always play the bad guy? Like this actor right here. Every movie I've seen him, he's always been the bad guy. And I've seen him in countless movies. The scenes might be short, but he's always the bad guy. So he's always typecast. Most actors will tell you they don't want to be typecast. I remember Matthew McConaughey talking about it, where all the movies he was being cast were all romantic comedies, until he got to a point where he was like, hey, I'll turn down $20 million because he was making a lot of money. But he was like, nobody's really taking me seriously outside of this genre. I have the range, I have the skills to do something else. And obviously the rest is history, because he's been everywhere now. And we now know he can play whatever he wants. So again, I will remind you, this is a rumor. And again, like I've said before, that sometimes you hear somebody cast to play a certain role and you're like, yes. Oh my God, yes. I can't wait to see, because I know they're going to bring it. This is tailor-made for this, he or she's tailor-made for this role. So I don't know, but we will see. Again, he has no choice but to bring us a really good show. But at the same time, we know Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves will give us good product, right? He will always give us good product. And the fact that it's the Batman, it has to be good. So, well, I guess I'll just wait and see kind of thing. And hopefully, if this is just a rumor, well, if this becomes real, okay, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, that's just a rumor coming from the DC universe. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.